Hello, it's Brent from PathandTarot, the YouTube channel as well as the web blog. And here we are in another tarot unboxing. We're gonna unbox John Bauer Tarot. I know nothing about this deck. I literally saw it on where would I find this? Amazon? That's right. That's where I seem to get a lot of my decks. And again, I wrote on just instinct. Just thought, hey, this looks really cool. It caught my eye immediately. Sometimes that's just the best way to go about finding tarot decks. Is just it's gotta catch you. And I saw that the images, kind of the short little history about it, just got me interested. And here we are. So that's about as much as I know. Like, I really don't know much about this artist or anything else. So we're gonna find all that out in this tarot unboxing. So I like to do that because it's cool to just be able to see my natural reaction to these cards. Like, I have no bias going into that, and that's one of the main things I like to capture in these unboxings. So this is shrink wrapped here, so it's ready to be opened. I love doing the shrink wrap. It's great. I love opening it. All right, so first thing I can tell you is that this is a Lo Scarabeo deck. I don't know if you can see that there, but I'm familiar with those decks, so I know that they'll be of significant quality when we open them up. And I feel like the size of these cards is already going to be pretty good. I like cards to be a little less wide, but just tall enough. That's kind of, it's like the sweet zone for the size of cards. So already I think this is going to be pretty cool. So let's open it up. Basically the general flow of this will be to examine as much as I can from the package, show you what's in it, show you a few of the cards, talk about the cards, stock, how they feel, kind of just collect the experience of what opening a deck is kind of like. And then, you know, we'll do a tarot reading at the end with some of the cards. I'm not going to show you all the cards. I may show you about 20 or so, maybe even just the major arcana cards. We'll go through that, just so you get an idea of what they look like, because you may want to get this deck. I don't know. It's up to you. Have some water. There'll be links in the description below, just because I think that would be helpful. Alright, so the shrink wrap is off. We've got the box. So let's open up the, yes, double shrink wrapped. I like that. See, here's the thing. Why is shrink wrap so important? Why do you keep talking about shrink wrap? Well, the nice thing about shrink wrap and having it double shrink wrapped is that you can be certain that the cards will be fairly clean to the touch. So your very first experience with the cards has like a clean sensation. You still may want to wipe the cards down and cleanse them yourself in any other way. But it's really cool that your very first experience touching these cards is a clean one. That's kind of a cool thing to be able to say. And it's part of the presentation of what is in this box, right? The artist, manufacturer, whoever is in charge of the production of this, has produced this in a certain way. You've got the guidebook here that is not shrink wrapped, but the cards are shrink wrapped. It's in the box. So that's an interesting thing to just take note of and experience. That's it. This is the presentation. So here we go. We've got the guidebook here. Let's just have a quick flip through it and see what's in here. So let's find out about John Bauer, the illustrator. John Bauer, Swedish painter and illustrator, born in 1882 to 1918. So an artist of the late 19th century, we could say. Well, I guess, yeah, he would have been, what, 18? Is that the right math? Yeah, about 18 at 1900, so, you know, he's lived through 2 centuries. This art style deals with a lot of landscape and mythology. Very cool. So it seems like he's done a lot of work painting over 1,000 works of art for his relatively short life, actually. You know, if you do the math, he didn't live that long, 1882 to 1918. What I can tell you, that sounds pretty prolific. 1,000 works of art. 1,000 is a lot for that lifespan. What's 18 times 2? That's his life. So this tarot deck would be based on that. I would think that each picture on the card is probably an individual piece of art. That's pretty cool. It doesn't tell you more about the history other than that. And then, very much like a lot of Lo Scarabeo books, it just comes with a very brief list of the card meanings, right? So it tells you what each of the cards mean so that you can start to do readings right away. If you've never read tarot cards and you just look at the cards, go find out what they mean and just try to put it all together. And it gives you a little write-up of how to use the cards too. So just a very simple, straightforward booklet to get you started. That's it. So here we go. I feel like a lot of these decks, especially the Lo Scarabeo decks, are sort of intended for readers, tarot readers who already have experience reading cards, because there's quite a lot more that you could put into these guidebooks to help the reader. But once you've already learned that, then you kind of don't really need to go over it all the time. Ooh. This is fantastic. I'm going to show you something really, really interesting that I don't think gets talked about enough, at least when dealing with card. Wow, look at those. Whoa! Oh my god. Wow! Look at those back, look at the back design. Look at that. Amazing, really cool color choice. It's like, maybe it's hard to see, but it's like a strong red color. I'm not good with colors, I know a little bit, but it's like a red that's kind of like an off red, almost like slightly to the vermilion. Like, I don't know, it's hard. But it's striking, captures you, and then it's like an olive, almost an olive greenish, it's faint, it's hard to, it's almost like pea soup. Pea soup. So it comes with 2 extra cards. Promotional card, back design. The Tarot Association, Tarosophy. We keep seeing those. And I wonder why. TarotAssociation.net. Membership includes the quarterly tarot magazine, etc. Very cool. If you see this, you should check that out. It's probably worth looking into. I'll take these extra cards, put them in the box, and I'll save the box. And I'll keep that guidebook out. Okay, so here's something very interesting about this tarot deck. So let's just start with the feeling of the cards, and then I'll show you. Haha, I've led you in suspense. So the cardstock is great. I like this a lot. It feels just strong enough. Oops. Yeah, feels good. I mean, I wish I knew more about cardstock and kind of what quality this is, but if you just go by what feels good, that can get you pretty far. I can at least describe to you what I like and what that feels like, and this cardstock feels good. Like it feels nice in my hands, and the size of the card is, I like that. I like the size of this card. It fits right in my hand like that. It's not too big, but it's not small. It's not too small either. It's really nice. So let's look at the dimensions of the card here with the Fool. So this would be a Make Playing Cards default size tarot card. This is just a black and white copy though. Waitsmith deck of my own design, sort of. Here's the back design anyways. So here's the size difference of the card. So here's the Fool inside of the Three of Wands. So maybe you can see that, but it's a little bit smaller, just a tad bit, not by a whole lot. It seems to be almost the same height, but it's a little thinner, or sorry, a little less wide, I guess you could say. It's hard to even really see. If you put it right up to the edge, seems like the edges are rounded off and the corners almost in the same way, so maybe you get, if that helps. Okay. But here's a playing card. Bicycle playing card, 2 of spades. So give you an idea of the size of this particular card. It's about that. It's maybe not the best way to show it, but yeah, you get the idea. So this playing card kind of fits right into the image of the card here. So that's kind of cool. So let's even look at the dimensions of the tarot card. Centimeters. We do centimeters, right? Yes. About 6.5 centimeters wide, I think. And about, what is it? Oh, I got it upside down. Just under 12 centimeters? Yeah? Yeah, that's 6.5 wide. I mean, that's pretty good. I like those dimensions. And in terms of the, ooh, these feel different. These cards feel like a little more less bendy, less flexible. And that's okay. I think that's still good. So these cards do feel different from playing cards, whatever the default is. These still feel really great. So yeah, overall the quality of the card feels very nice, and that's important to me. Like I want to have a good feeling on the cards. Okay, so we got past that. So here's the cool thing that I wanted to show you now. To understand what it is you're going to see, you're going to have to try and look at the card and just maybe try to guess what you're about to see. Notice that the image goes right to the edge. So there's no borders to part of the card itself. You've got these two tops here. It's got information about the card itself. It's got the numbers. It's somewhat symmetrical. Actually, no, it is symmetrical. Well, it's not somewhat. It is. But then you've got the image goes right to the edge. Now, most tarot decks, let's say this tarot deck, as you can see, has, well, it's hard to get that into the, it's got almost a border for the edge, so you've got blackness. It's maybe hard to see over a black mat, but the image does not go right to the edge. It is somewhat centered, so you've got this almost a black border around the tarot card. And so when you look at the tarot deck, if you fan it out this way, it looks a certain way, right? It's all one color. It's very, very plain, right? But if you fan these cards out in this way like that, you get sort of a pattern, right? So, okay, maybe you already know what's going to happen. So I will show you. Now, I haven't seen what's going to happen, so I'm going to see this for the first time with you. Whoops, I moved the camera. This is all live off the cuff. You gotta know that. So now we take these cards, right? Start to fan them out a little bit. Look at the color spectrum that starts to happen. It's almost like a core sample of what the deck is going to be. Sorry, I'm going to move the camera a little bit so we can get this into, there we go. So let's try this again without me hitting the camera. It's almost like, so you'll get the idea like this. If we fan the cards like that, look, it's got the same color. But let's fan them out the opposite direction. So now we've got these interesting color patterns that start to form. That's because the images go right to the edge, and so they're bleeding out from the card. And so as we fan these cards out, they start to do interesting things. And so when they're out of order, these cards are probably in order, you'll start to see cool things. The edge of the tarot deck has meaning. So if you look at the edge like this, it may not be able to come through, but maybe I'll try and kind of get it right up to the camera. You can kind of see it. But you see how much of a difference there is. So see, that's the same greenish color. As you then kind of move up, you start to see that, yeah, the bleeding of that image right to the edge has an effect. As you start to fan them out like this, you start to see the effect become pronounced. So it's an interesting effect that comes about from making a certain artistic choice of the card design. So there you go. That was the little secret. I didn't really even know that was going to happen, but that's been a design idea for a little while now. So there you go. Pretty cool. So these images go right to the edge. They bleed out, and I wonder what's going to happen as we start to use these cards out of order, because then we're seeing them in order. These cards are set up all in succession, so really cool. Yeah. If you get the deck, you'll see exactly what I mean. So I'm just gonna flip through these cards. The images are just incredible. I love these paintings already. Now I wonder if they were specially selected, or if they were drawn with a purpose to be connected to the tarot. It doesn't say in the guidebook, so I'm not certain if that's the case or not. And from what I can see, the major arcana cards, they're numbered with Roman numerals, and then the pip cards are Arabic numbers, the numbers that we're most familiar with. And then you've got the court cards, they have their own symbol. So it feels like it's page, knight, queen, king. I think that is how it's set up. We'll find out in the book in just a second. So yes, page, knight, queen, king. So that's kind of important to know the court structure of your tarot deck, because it reads a certain way. Other decks have a different setup. Sorry, some water. Other decks are set up differently, so you know those are things to recognize as you work with different tarot decks. So let's just take out the major arcana cards and play with those, because I feel like these cards with the major arcana are really, really interesting. And what I can tell you about this tarot deck so far is that it's very, you know, I would say it's in the class of the Waite-Smith tarot deck, the one that I've just shown you here. The reason being is that it has images on all the pip cards, so it has something being depicted that is cluing you into the symbolism and the meaning of that particular card. Whereas other decks, the pip cards are usually just geometric symbols, which, you know, symbolic shapes to do with the suit itself. So they're, you know, the pip cards are more almost symbolic in that way. So that gives you an idea of what the pip cards are going to be like. So it's should be a really cool experience. And I feel like a lot of these pictures may just be different paintings in the artist's repertoire, and they're just hand selected to fit into these archetypes of the tarot. The tarot has a very strong archetypal structure, and so it'd be very easy to just find an image that fits that mold, if you will, and then all the rest of the meaning kind of gets drawn towards it just by associating it with a particular part of the tarot and the major arcana. That's what I feel like. I don't know for sure. But say we've got number 10. So 10 kind of looks like the Hermit a bit, but it seems like it's taking the place of the Wheel of Fortune. But this would be the Hermit. A young maiden stares into a starry night. Interesting. So yeah, there's some definitely there's some pretty cool artistic choices here with this deck. So let's get to this reading. Why don't we? Okay. Let's do like a smush, a wash, and then we'll shuffle the cards a bit more. What should we ask? You can ask a question in this reading here. What do you want to know? I think maybe what I'll ask is what are we missing here to turn this channel into something bigger that is would sustain me for the rest of my years, maybe. Ooh, that's kind of big. That's a big question. But we'll go with that. These cards feel like they can give interesting answers. So I'm going to do a little bit more shuffling with the cards. Maybe do just a little. I can do a riffle maybe. It's harder to shuffle with a small amount of cards, like 20, 22 cards, including the Fool. But this is a different style of reading the tarot cards. You can take apart your tarot cards and reorganize them like this and just read with the majors if you want to. It's just a way of utilizing your deck in various ways. You don't have to just use the whole deck if you don't want to, or you can do the opposite and read with just the minors. See how that works. You know, there's no rules in the tarot. There's just only methods and best practices. And if what works for you, great. It's really about how much you want to expand. It will dictate how you do it. But if you're happy and you're comfortable, well then that's cool too. Alright, so these cards feel pretty good. So what we're going to use, we're just going to make a cross. 4 points, right? Here, and flip up the center card. We got 5. We'll have 5 cards. 5 cards that's pretty decent. Probably you can get more information out of the 5 cards. Maybe we should do 3. Should we do 3? Ooh, maybe we'll do that. We've been doing 5. Maybe we'll just do 3. So we'll just do here, take a card, put it here. I'll flip it right side up, that's fine. And here. So maybe I can move the cards in a bit like that. So we have 11. Wait, that's 11. So we've got Strength, the Hierophant, which is 5, and then 11, which would be maybe Justice, I think. It's hard to say because it doesn't have the names on the card. So yes, Justice. So you've got like a boy sitting in front of this like hag-like thing, possibly being judged. That's interesting. Justice. Strength. This is kind of cool. So this is a great little, an association that we could be all familiar with. In this case, a tiny girl sort of befriending a large bear. And then we've got the Hierophant here. Looks like 2 people, a man and a woman, consulting almost like a old rock figure, almost like a god. That's what feeling I get from that. La Papa. La Pope. The Hierophant. 2 children stand before a stone creature engaged in discussion. So this is kind of cool. So we can do like present, past, future if you want to. So the past would indicate that I had strength enough to maybe create this foundation that I have so far with the website and the YouTube channel. And that presently there's some sort of justice happening, some sort of weighing of the odds. That's kind of interesting because maybe that's quite literal in what we're doing right now, an unboxing. But also in the unboxing I sort of pepper in observations and borderline criticisms, obviously in a positive way, but criticism to highlight certain parts of the cards, but probably mostly observations. But in a way, I'm weighing things out. I'm gauging them. If there's something I don't like about it, you'll probably know. But so far, these cards are pretty awesome. So there's very little anything that would be negative. I don't know if I have anything to say about that. That would be negative. Justice, yeah, we're sort of weighing things out a bit, but also maybe presently too, I'm sort of weighing things out internally on how to figure out what to do to get to the next step, because that's what we asked. What am I missing to take this channel to the next level, to really kind of have a foundation to step onto and make that be a larger part of my life? So justice would have something to do with it. I have to weigh out things that maybe I have to remove, but then I've got the Hierophant in the future, so there's almost like a figure that I'll be experiencing in the future that's going to help guide me to help figure out what it is I have to take out or justify. Maybe even interesting. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's a quick little reading. Really using almost the literal images in these cards. The Waite Smith style deck here, it's powerful for that reason. You could use the images in a literal sense to help you read the cards, and so I think that's a really cool thing, especially with this deck. These images are quite powerful in that way. They're very the images really are help you associate the meanings of these cards, and so I think they're quite powerful in that way. Okay, so there you go. That is it. That's the unboxing. There'll be links below for you to check out. There'll be an article as well for this here for you to click on, read more about. There's be lots more content on the website to check out if you're interested in tarot and other occult-like things. So definitely engage with that, and there'll be some more videos on the site as well. So thank you for watching, and stay well read.